Have you ever wondered why, in the quietest moments, your heart aches for reasons you can't name? Why a single word, a glance, or a memory can send you spiraling into a storm of doubt or shame? There is a paradox at the core of being human. The wounds we carry from childhood, invisible to the world, often shape the very choices we make as adults. We spend years outrunning shadows, only to find that they have quietly become the architects of our lives. Tonight, let us walk together through the silent corridors of memory and listen for the faint, persistent heartbeat of hope that pulses beneath the pain. In the hush before dawn, when the world is still and the mind is unguarded, old voices sometimes rise. These are not the voices of reason or comfort, but echoes from a time when we were small, powerless, and desperate for warmth. Childhood trauma is not always a scream or a bruise. Sometimes it is the cold absence of a loving gaze, the hollow thud of footsteps walking away, the silence after a plea for help. We learn, early and often, to swallow our pain, to hide it deep within the marrow of our bones. There is a raw truth here, one we rarely speak aloud. The past is never truly past. It lingers, shaping the way we see ourselves, the way we trust or withdraw, the way we love or turn away. We become adults, but inside, a part of us remains frozen in a moment of fear or longing. We build lives around these fractures, hoping that if we move fast enough, achieve enough, love enough, the ache will fade. Yet, in the quiet, it returns. The fear of abandonment, the terror of not being enough, the shame that clings like a second skin. We find ourselves reacting to the present with the emotions of the past, snapping at a partner, recoiling from intimacy, sabotaging opportunities. It is as if we are haunted by ghosts only we can see. Consider the woman who cannot say no, who bends and breaks to please everyone but herself, or the man who cannot trust, who builds walls so high that even he forgets what lies behind them. These are not flaws of character, but scars of survival. We did what we had to do to endure, and those strategies, once life-saving, become prisons. We rarely admit this to ourselves. Society tells us to move on, to toughen up, to let go. But trauma is not a choice, and healing is not a straight line. The pain is real, and it deserves to be seen. In the darkness, there is a strange comfort. We are not alone in our suffering. Sometimes it is easier to numb ourselves, to work too much, to drink, to scroll endlessly through glowing screens. Anything to avoid the ache. But avoidance is a slow poison. The more we run, the more the pain chases us. And yet, to feel this pain is to be alive. It is a testament to the child we once were, who survived against all odds. There is a dignity in acknowledging our wounds, a silent strength in facing what we would rather forget. If you listen closely, beneath the pain, there is a whisper. You have survived. You are still here. And that, in itself, is a kind of hope. We like to believe we are the authors of our own stories, that our decisions are born from logic or desire. But what if, beneath every choice, there is an unseen hand? The hand of childhood, reaching out from the shadows, guiding us in ways we cannot see. Trauma is not just an event. It is a lens through which we view the world, a silent script that shapes our every move. Think of the man who cannot commit, who leaves before he can be left. Or the woman who chooses partners who cannot love her, replaying old wounds in the hope that this time, the ending will be different. These are not random mistakes, but unconscious attempts to rewrite the past. We are drawn to the familiar, even when it hurts, because pain is predictable, and predictability feels safe. There is a darkness here, a sense of helplessness that can feel suffocating. How much of our lives are truly our own? How many of our dreams and fears are inherited from those first formative years? We carry the burdens of our parents, the expectations of our culture, the silent rules of our childhood homes. We become actors in a play we did not write, reciting lines we do not remember learning. In everyday moments, the impact is subtle but profound. We hesitate to speak up in meetings, fearing ridicule. We avoid intimacy, convinced we are unlovable. We chase perfection, desperate to earn the approval that was once withheld. These are not quirks, but survival strategies, ways of navigating a world that once felt dangerous. And yet, in the midst of this darkness, there is a strange beauty. The very strategies that once protected us are evidence of our resilience. We adapted, we endured, we found ways to keep going. The child within us may have been powerless, but the adult has choices, if only we dare to see them. What if, instead of judging ourselves for our patterns, we approach them with curiosity? What if every self-sabotage, every fear, every longing was a clue, a message from the past, asking to be heard? In the act of listening, we begin to reclaim our power. The journey is not easy. It requires courage to face the truth, to sit with discomfort, to question the stories we have always believed. But in that questioning, a new possibility emerges, the chance to write a different ending. We are not doomed to repeat the past. The hand that once guided us can be gently released. In the space that remains, something new can grow, a fragile hope, a quiet strength, a sense of agency that was once unimaginable. There comes a moment, subtle and almost imperceptible, when the pain that once defined us begins to lose its grip. It does not happen all at once, and it is rarely dramatic. Instead, it is a quiet rebellion, a decision, made in the privacy of our own hearts, to question the inevitability of our suffering. Perhaps it begins with a single act of defiance, saying no when you would have said yes, asking for help when you would have suffered in silence, choosing rest over relentless striving. These moments are small, almost invisible to the outside world, but they are acts of profound courage. In them, we declare that we are more than our wounds. Nietzsche once wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." In the aftermath of trauma, finding that why can feel impossible. But sometimes it is enough to simply ask the question, what if my life could be different? What if I am not broken, but unfinished? We begin to notice the patterns, the way our hearts race in conflict, the way our bodies tense at the sound of anger, the way we shrink from kindness, expecting it to vanish. Awareness is painful, but it is also the first step toward freedom. To see ourselves clearly is to reclaim the power that was once taken from us. In the midst of suffering, there is a hidden strength. The very fact that we can reflect, question, and hope is evidence of our resilience. We are not passive victims of fate. We are active participants in our own becoming. Consider the man who, after years of silence, finally tells his story, or the woman who forgives herself for the choices she made in order to survive. These are not grand gestures, but quiet revolutions. In them, we see the possibility of transformation. The world may not change, but we do. We learn to hold our pain with compassion, to see our scars as reminders of battles fought and won. We begin to trust ourselves, to make choices that honor our needs and desires. There is no guarantee of happiness, no promise of a life without struggle. But in the act of awakening, we discover something precious, the freedom to choose, to change, to become. The journey is long, and the path is often unclear. But with each step, we move closer to ourselves, to the person we were always meant to be. In the aftermath of trauma, meaning can feel like a distant dream, something reserved for the lucky or the unscarred. But Viktor Frankl, who endured the unimaginable, reminds us that meaning is not found, it is made. We are the artists of our own lives, painting beauty from the raw materials of suffering. There is a silent strength in the way we carry on, even when hope seems lost. The mother who rises each morning, weary but determined to love her children differently than she was loved. The friend who listens without judgment, offering the gift of presence to those in pain. These acts may seem small, but they are acts of resistance, proof that trauma does not have the final word. We find meaning in the connections we forge, in the kindness we extend, in the courage it takes to keep moving forward. Even in the darkest moments, there is a spark, a reminder that we are more than what happened to us. Jung believed that our wounds are often the source of our greatest gifts. The empathy born of suffering, the wisdom gained through struggle, the capacity to love deeply because we know what it means to be unloved. These are not just compensations, they are treasures hidden in the shadows. In everyday life, meaning reveals itself in unexpected ways. A shared laugh, a moment of understanding, a quiet evening spent in peace. We learn to savor these moments, to find joy in the ordinary, to recognize that healing is not a destination, but a way of being. There is a dignity in survival, a nobility in the way we persist. We may never fully escape the shadows, but we can learn to walk with them, to let them teach us, to find beauty in the broken places. The world is full of suffering, but it is also full of grace. We are not defined by our pain, but by the way we respond to it. In choosing to seek meaning, we reclaim our power, our agency, our humanity. The journey is ongoing, and there will be setbacks, but each day offers a new opportunity to forgive, to connect, to create, to love. In these acts, we find purpose. In these moments, we find ourselves. There is a moment, often quiet and unremarkable, when we realize that the darkness has begun to lift. It is not that the pain has vanished or that the past has been erased. Rather, it is that we have changed. We have learned to carry our wounds with grace, to let them inform, but not define us. Kierkegaard wrote of the leap of faith, the decision to trust in the possibility of a life beyond suffering. This leap is not a denial of pain, but an affirmation of hope. It is the choice to believe that healing is possible, even when the evidence is scarce. We begin to see ourselves with new eyes, not as victims, but as survivors, as creators of meaning, as bearers of light. The choices we make are no longer dictated by fear or shame, but by a quiet confidence in our own worth. In the stillness, we recognize the truth. We are not alone. Our struggles are shared by countless others, each fighting their own silent battles. In this recognition, there is comfort and a sense of belonging. The journey is not linear. There will be days when the old pain returns, when the shadows feel overwhelming. But even then, we remember the strength that brought us this far. We remember that we have faced the darkness before, and we have survived. There is no final destination, no perfect healing, but there is progress, there is growth, there is the slow, steady emergence of a self that is whole, even in its brokenness. The light that grows in darkness is not blinding or sudden. It is gentle, persistent, quietly transformative. It is the light of self-awareness, of compassion, of hope. As we move forward, we carry this light within us, a beacon for ourselves and for others still lost in the shadows. In this way, our suffering is not wasted. It becomes the source of our greatest strength. And so, As the night deepens and the world grows quiet, remember this: your pain is real, but it is not all that you are. The wounds of childhood may shape your path, but they do not determine your destiny. In the silent spaces between suffering and hope, you are free to choose again and again the possibility of meaning, of connection, of life. There are no easy answers, no simple cures, but there is dignity in the struggle and beauty in the becoming. Keep moving forward, even when the way is unclear, for in the darkness, your light is waiting to be found. Sometimes, the most profound journeys are the ones we take within ourselves, through the silent ruins of our childhood, across the hidden scars we rarely show, and into the fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, we are more than the sum of our pain. If tonight's story touched something deep inside you, let it be a gentle reminder. You are not alone in your struggle, and your courage to keep searching for meaning is itself a quiet act of heroism. Healing is not a straight path, but every step you take, no matter how small, is a testament to your resilience. Allow yourself to feel, to question, and to hope. Your story is not over. There is still light to be found, even in the darkest corners. If this journey resonated with you, I invite you to share your thoughts or your own story in the comments below. Your voice matters, and you never know who you might inspire. And if you found value in this reflection, please consider subscribing to the channel so we can continue exploring these silent truths together. Thank you for watching and for allowing yourself to be seen.